We are back for our final series of the day in the Korean server qualifier, the first one of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2018. We're going to be going into INnoVation versus Classic in just a few moments' time to determine our third and final player to qualify from this qualifier.
Yeah, and after what we saw from INnoVation here in the previous series, taking out Hero with a 2-0, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do against, say, Classic, who already beat him earlier in the tournament, and maybe get a cheeky little revenge here in this best of 5 this time around.
Yeah, maybe we can pick up a quick little victory. Here's just confirmation of how this bracket has went. As you can see, Classic 2-0 INnoVation earlier on in the winner bracket round of 8, and then does lose out to Dark qualifying, then also Impact took down Hero, who we just saw losing out to INnoVation. Classic came through this bottom bracket by beating Stats.
Yeah, INnoVation that road, by the way, in the lower brackets.
Yeah,
2-1 Gumiho, 2-1 TY, and then beating Hero is just... He's very deserving here if he makes it, for sure.
Has INnoVation eliminated like every Terran player today? Because he also beat Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Is INnoVation like the guy knocking out all these other Terrans, not giving them a chance?
Come on, don't encourage the whiny Terrans to say like, it's the only way he can win, is beating other Terrans. We don't need to go there, Waldy.
Okay.
He's beat one Protoss, all right? Let's put it on rest for like 10 minutes
He's about
until Classic 3-0s him with some cheese.
That would be very sad. Anyways, let's do this. To the bottom left-hand side of Blackpink, our red Terran player is INnoVation. Best of 5 now, of course, here in the qualifying round. As to the top right, our blue Protoss, it's Classic.
Ready to derail the hype train, as it often has in the past.
Yeah, I suppose. But to be fair, Classic's been playing some pretty fun games today. I wouldn't be disappointed if Classic qualified. I think it'd be nice to see him at Katowice.
That is the biggest caster lie I've ever heard.
It's okay. INnoVation has a couple other qualifiers you can get through still, you know?
Yeah, true. We'd still be pretty disappointed if we didn't make it today.
See, it's all gone wrong for the Terran players because they're expecting all these Protosses to qualify today already. So then, you know, next time they're going to be okay, but
yeah,
it's actually all been about Zerg so far.
There's still many Protosses where that came from.
Yeah, that's very true. There's actually a ton of especially the Koreans.
Yeah, SOS Stats didn't make it there.
Zest as well.
Pretty sick, actually.
And quite a few, as you do see this probe coming across here, will nibble at that SCV on the barracks. We're just going to see that initial building order will be expansion focus from both players to get things started here. Onto Blackpink. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Classic plays compared to Hero, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is he also going to be playing gateway heavy styles? Is he going to go into Colossi? Does he change it up through the series?
INnoVation doesn't seem to scout a whole lot, so I wonder if Classic will be looking to try and punish with something. I mean, when he gets a Reaper, he does scout for proxies usually up first before heading across the map. So even if you proxy something like a Stargate, he might be able to spot it. But if you really analyze his scouting pattern, maybe there is like, you know, a blind spot somewhere that you could use to go for like something like a proxy here as Classic. So I wonder.
Like one build that just hits at the right time to punish the lack of scout. No, it's definitely
look like now
possible.
he checked the left-hand side, but he didn't check the right-hand side.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a proxy Stargate down here flies into the main so quickly, right? So it's definitely opening stuff abuse possible, as we do see the third CC from INnoVation once again. So he's really on the kind of free CC. Let's just take the macro kind of advantage hype train today. We saw one of our Terran players doing that earlier as well, special, in our first matchup of the day. So obviously the Terran players sort of resorting to just sort of mass eco, try and get into the mid games with these TVPs. Obviously it'll be a barracks-based follow-up from here. And from Classic for now, just the Twilight Council to get set up.
And we've seen actually very little scans come out of a lot of those Terrans. Because I think they just kind of know what to expect in general, and it's also like, with the Oracle being changed and not being quite as deadly as before, it's much better to actually use a mule and be in position with Marines ready to defend, because you know you're going to do a lot better. So Terrans really have adapted very well, and when they get this third CC the way they do, they really do take the third base at the exact right time. They pump ICVs 3x3 for the time being and really building up their economy to then start on doing some big attacks. And with a big army lead, I think is the key to playing very well prior to anything else for the Terrans. Because like you know that a lot of the time if Protoss is on Double Forge, you're not going to be ahead on upgrades. You're not going to be ahead on tech either, because you don't have Chrono Boost.
Reaper just spotting for the third base. I always like it when the Terrans manage to keep their Reapers alive. Because actually, you know, being, just having that unit on the map to check for the third base, it just gives you that little bit of extra info, the timings to work with. INnoVation. Well, so far not being punished for the free CC, and Classic just taking that worker lead nonetheless. But INnoVation should stay pretty close with free bases, and obviously the mules are something you don't see in that work account. When
Classic played against Dark earlier, you know, I did say they were I think a bit of an odd series. They were both on SK Telecom T1 once upon a time. I thought, you know, they might play a role, they might be familiar with one another, but these two were as well, Classic and INnoVation.
Yeah, of course they were. I mean, they were kind of... INnoVation was obviously one of the big ace players for SKT1. It feels like all the players on SKT1 were like big ace players, but yeah, there'd be seeing some funky stuff as well potentially as the series goes on. I wonder if in like a longer series, if INnoVation starts to maybe lose hope in terms of the macro sort of side of things. I wonder if he maybe turns towards like proxy and factories or other sort of aggressive builds like proxy starports as well to try and get some damage done early. I wonder if that's something he'll mix in here, because it isn't very INnoVation-esque to kind of do that sort of stuff. But
actually, looking at lose his Reaper, they're a little bit unusual to just one Stalker coming in. After how the previous series went, I really don't think he should be too worried about like the straight up macro, but obviously like if you're talking very late game, obviously it becomes very difficult when there is like, you know, Tempest, potential even carriers entering the field, just maxed out Protoss with item loss everywhere on the map. INnoVation showed good ghost control, but he was against a hero that, like we said, kind of overextended with the Adepts and was just like kind of taking fights in bad chokes. But I at least like that he went for Ghost actually in that one game, the second map against Hero.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see some more of that. And I wonder if that's something which Classic can maybe abuse a bit himself. Maybe kind of rushing up Colossi a couple of times if INnoVation continues to not scout, because we saw on Neon Violet against Hero, INnoVation didn't scout at all when Hero was up on free bases making tech choices. So
yeah.
it would be interesting.
It's kind of like he was just counting on Hero to play gateway heavy, which is what every Protoss is doing as of late. So it would be a good thing to maybe mix in a bit of a different style. Gas is actually being saturated pretty early here on the third base. I mean, like at a normal timing, if you want to go into a longer game like Classic. A lot of Protosses, they've been skipping on that and taking the fourth base earlier, but not Classic.
Yeah, and that's probably because he's going for that Templar Archive, so looking for perhaps just a fast Storm. I mean, generally against Terran, going into Storm is not going to be a bad thing. You can obviously warp in a couple of Archons initially to help out, but man, does Storm go a long way? Nothing just yet, though. There it is. Finally starting up as we see a Prism into the main base as well. Classic looking for some harassment here. Looking to get rid of a few of these SCVs and looking to just slow down the economy of the Terran player. And as you actually see, Classic already up by 15 workers. Nice fast response from INnoVation comes in, and at the same time, Stalker's on the third, but INnoVation also in position there. So very well defended. Not going to be caught off guard. Look at the army supplies once again. Frost players just consistently trailing. And INnoVation just feels as though you may have a couple openings here or there to maybe take advantage of.
It's always mistelling though, because Protoss has warp in, right? So, so the army just enters the field instantaneously. And also, with the build that Classic went for, you know, he took like the third base and then dropped a lot of gateways. So it's like his supply is going to catch up very fast off the back of that. Like we already see him catching up like quite nicely
there. I wonder
there.
if you could just hit maybe like just before Storm finishes or something, right?
No, no, the answer is always no to that.
Okay. I'll take it. As we do see this Prism being chased, though, as we're going to see. Oh, Widowmine!
Oh my god.
Goes off and gets all of the units as well. Okay, well now INnoVation doesn't have to stay at home, so even if he just pokes and prods to see what's up, he can potentially get something done here as he does rally himself over to the right-hand side. Classic will see some of this army crossing with the Observer.
So many times I've been hopeful looking at the production that a Terran would hit before Storm. Every single time this has happened, Wally. That's why I told you what I told you. Like I feel it's impossible to hit a pre-Storm timing when Chrono Boost just makes you get it so fast.
Let's see, Widowmines will lead the charge into this here. A couple of Zealots getting blasted already. Another couple of Storms. Honestly, they aren't the best Storms here. Splitting's pretty good from INnoVation to minimize damage output.
He's trading much better right now. Like those Storms didn't land enough.
Yeah, look at the Concave from INnoVation, by the way, as we're going to see Zealots charging free once again. Widowmine High Templar in the center here, as INnoVation seems as though he's going to be overwhelming, starting to come through the top side especially, and now back from the south as he cleaned up those Zealots. A few extra Zealot warp-ins will come on through, and this might push INnoVation back, but he killed off a lot of tech-focused units here, such as Immortals and Archons. And actually, even still, more Widow Mines are burrowing, and there is more potential here for INnoVation because he just keeps kiting. Comes in, two Marauders on the right, just don't quite get the Immortal yet. Widow Mine nearly gets the Prism. The
That one Marine got the Immortal and the Prism. What a guy.
Absolute hero in the end. As we'll see, INnoVation now with Liberators makes life even more difficult for Classic, who really doesn't have that many Stalkers or any anti-air at all at the moment.
Oh damn, do you see these three
I
observers all
was going
together?
to say that F2. The Select All Army hotkey is being spammed by Classic right now to get everything he can in this fight, it seems.
Yeah, and Classic, having lost the high Templars there, it's not like he can even replenish. INnoVation's not going to give him the time. Right now he smells blood in the water, and he wants to score that first map win. He's going to keep on pressuring, keep on kiting. Classic can't even transfer the probes to his fourth base, so he's going to recall them.
Well, that's, I mean, I guess that's one way to do it, right? I guess he doesn't need recall in the immediate future. As you're going to see Libs on Siege, and just as he does, Classic's going to pounce. Initial Widow Mines get a couple of Zealots. There's the Liberator Siege, and now we do see INnoVation going to have to kite on backwards once again. As Liberators are softening up these Archons and Stalkers, though, it just means that the bio at the end of the day will push through, and now he can chase for the Immortal pickoff because those Zealots are not nearby once again. Immortal drops, and INnoVation will just keep on kiting. Those Widow Mines too. Still just being absolutely deadly time after time. INnoVation still just pushing, but I mean, to be fair, Classic is just about holding on, which for now is doing the job.
Yeah, he's staying alive nicely here, and having transferred probes onto his fourth base, he's got that saturated a little bit here now. At least Classic is just holding on here for now.
Those medevacs are so low to the point where they're probably all going to go down. I mean, they didn't have any energy left, but now you have to rebuild them. INnoVation may make his way through these Zealots. The 2-2 makes the Zealots so tanky, of course, against the bio. Stalker goes down as well. Back and forth, scrappy fights here between the players. As it seems to settle down for at least the moment, though. The thing is, INnoVation didn't plan to go later than this. Just now taking his gases on the third base.
I mean, there's no armory, right?
Yeah, no 2-2.
No second E-base, so he's not going to be upgrading anymore. It's just going to be pure bio with some ghost added on, and he's still going to be trying to attack and kill Classic. He could fly his main orbital to a fourth base.
He's actually building a fourth base now. I think he's just realizing like he has to sort of transition out of all of this pressure.
If he does that, then he needs second eBay and Armory, I think. That's the thing, which he hasn't made.
I think you can't, because eventually you'll be on 1-1 against 3-3, right? You don't want that to happen.
Which didn't matter last game.
It didn't matter last game.
In this one, I get a feeling it might.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more kind of more even, more going to be kind of straight up fights.
Classic not getting level 3 ground armor here. Shields instead, maybe because he's going to have quite a few Archons in his army. Yeah,
we see a lot of more kind of shield usage in terms of upgrades lately, as we do see the Widow Mine drop though coming in. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3 connections. Not bad, honestly. 7 workers, especially when you get out with the Medevac and Widow Mines alive. Nice harassment from INnoVation to keep Classic slowed down a little bit here while he sets on up into his next stage of the game.
Don't feedback too early, Classic.
Feedback's too. You kind of
They never listen, do they?
To be fair, though, now it's so low that maybe just one Stalker on either side will shut it down before the Widow Mines get in. Have you seen?
Whatever you tell yourself, Wadi. Could have killed it in one feedback.
Have you seen the...
the Christmas package, there it is. Look at him, coming in from behind.
Don't look to be deadly.
4 high Templars as well, that is...
Kind of out of position right now, though, to help kind of take the fight right here. This is Stark kind of hightailing it back towards the bottom right side. I don't know if the Medevac just saw it there. It would be a nice scout to kind of get the idea of where that is. As this is a position of Blackpink we never really see fights on at all. This kind of bottom right base.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing INnoVation taking the high ground here. And, well, Widow Mines are going to have a field day on those Zealots to the left. First storm goes down the right's pretty good. Forces INnoVation quite far back. Another storm, but INnoVation is splitting well. The next storm is good again, though. Before he then storms his own Zealots. INnoVation kiting desperately. Needs to get away. He will get away. But now he's down on supply. And Classic is seemingly in control. Those upgrades are just playing such a huge role in these engagements.
Fighting this many high Templars without Ghost is must not be that fun. So now we're going to be seeing some more Ghosts starting. And INnoVation really hasn't had that many just yet to really make a difference. He's actually sending some of them forward. Oh my god. He pulled them back now. Did you see how close they were to the Protoss army?
They were going for it. They really wanted to.
I don't know if he wanted some snipes or it was misclick, but
maybe just looking to see if he could grab like some really good EMPs to justify just pushing in right now. But
by the way, this pylon right there.
Have
you seen it?
I have. It empower a lot. It empower a lot. I have to say, At this stage, I'm still so surprised INnoVation never started the armor in 2-2. I guess he was just so reliant on killing Classic off before now, but Classic really has refused to die. Now DTs are going to start moving around the bases. That just makes INnoVation's life more difficult. One more thing to think about. I mean, even just a few SCVs here and there, it just adds up, and all of those scans going down. INnoVation minimizes the damage, but here we go. I mean, Classic's going to jump on the army, the Ghost in the front, get some EMPs, but they get taken down pretty darn quick as well. High Templar coming out, and they will start to storm, and this is just an overwhelming force for Classic here. I mean, it's just a combination of having traded pretty well overall, keeping the eco of INnoVation at a decent point, and also, of course, most importantly, I think those upgrades just allowing him to engage again and again and again.
That was really smart by Classic. He knew that INnoVation was going to be looking across the map and trying to defend against the DTs, so he wouldn't be looking at his main army. And if you jump on top of the Terran army like this, that makes it that much harder for them to land the proper EMPs to try and win the fight. And yeah, the upgrade's really starting to be a bigger and bigger deal, and now he's about to complete some more.
Did he just kill his own observer? I'm almost sure he just clicked his own observer, but maybe I'm just seeing things wrong, as we will be seeing Class again ready to be aggressive, moving down towards the lower left-hand side.
He's about to be 5 upgrades ahead.
Well, 4 upgrades ahead wasn't enough for Hero, right?
Actually, no, 6, because he got shield level 2. Oh my god.
Oh my god. The math is real.
Close your eyes, Wadi.
You cast this
Don't look.
You cast this
Do not look.
I'm gonna guess what's happening. I think the Terran's just dying. Oh my god, that storm! I opened my eyes at the wrong time. Another storm is gonna decimate this mineral line, and INnoVation's just figuring out if he wants to type out GG with capital letters, lowercase. Okay, he's actually dropping some Widow Mine still, but I think even, well, 8 probe kills is not going to do. He actually types out WW. There you go.
You know why?
Because that's GG on the green keyboard.
You're damn right, Wadi. How did you know?
Typed in Korean one time. No, just figured it out over the years.
Oh, that was crazy. I thought INnoVation had it, but Classic hanging by the skin of his teeth on the 3rd base.
Yeah.
It's funny to think that if he had just engaged, he could have then not have to recall and sense the probes. I guess it didn't matter. He probably had some energy saved anyway on that Nexus.
It was a really back and forth game. Like you say, there's moments where INnoVation looked as though he didn't. Classic really barely held on. Like every single warp in came in at just the right time.
Yeah. I thought he was dead for a while, but those charge lot warp ins, every time I look at them, I'm like, because like, you know, when you play StarCraft and when I play against Terran, like I feel like it's very hard, right, to deal with Terran and stuff, the kiting and all that. But now when I look at these games, I'm like, I put myself in the shoes of the Terran. I'm like, I can't believe he's almost killing him. And then you see like the lights, and you hear the noise of the warp in, and then the charge lots just kind of come in.
Charge lots,
oh my god,
so good with that upgrade lead, man. It's insane. Well, Classic has continued the way he started off in the winner bracket earlier against INnoVation, and he is now 1-0 up in this best of 5. So INnoVation still yet to take a map off of Classic today. I mean, it's one of those things where you can't let it get in your mind too much. At some point, you've got to win.
Yeah.
Perhaps. We'll see if it's going to be in this next one.
That was a pretty good game.
No, I think it was a lot of potential there. I mean, you got to remember that INnoVation was so committed to the early attack, and that when that didn't work later game, he was really going to struggle because he never started up 2-2. His 4th was super late. The goals were very late.
You know what the crazy thing is, like about the recall, by the way? If he had scanned, or like if he had somehow seen it, remember the 3 observers were right next to him. Imagine if he had killed that, and then he had started like doing massive drops in the main base of Classic. There is no way Classic could have been ready. Even that natural, the 1 pylon, the 2 forges there, like kind of asking to die, like that could have been really bad for Classic. But INnoVation, he put all of his eggs in one basket. He said, I'm going to rally everything across the map, keep on attacking and break you. If Classic is able to hold on the way he was there, it's really hard to win after that. He was like an all-in in some way, right? Because it had to kill Classic.
It's very typical INnoVation. Like, INnoVation really doesn't like to kind of separate units and drop around. He'd much rather just push and push and push. Kick it off on Catalyst, map number 2. Caution. Pylons are bound as we tap to the top left-hand side. Our Blue Protoss player, it is Classic. He's put into the lower right corner of the map. Looking for his first map win of the day here against Classic. And you find it now, it's INnoVation.
A 6 upgrades advantage in the previous game, man. If I could get there against INnoVation, even I might win a game.
You think? Maybe we should set up a show match. He can't build upgrades. You can.
Why you do this to me? god.
Alright, I mean, he might just kill you early enough before upgrades matter. Just think of it that way. It's your way out.
Yeah.
Alright. Well then, game number 2.
Classic scouting.
Yeah.
But not INnoVation once again. I would have seen an attempt, like one time, you know, to try and do something about this.
I mean, there's so many different things you can do as a pros to punish a no-scouting Terran as well. Like, obviously, proxy Stargate. You could proxy the second gateway, like we saw Hero try earlier, which, honestly, I felt that was quite successful from Hero, the initial opener. There's just so much you can do. I mean, for a while, maybe we haven't seen it so much this patch, but, like, proxy double robo was a thing for a while, with, like, immortal warp prism attacks. There's been some crazy things, and especially if you don't scout, you don't see the lack of a nexus. I mean, what do you do as a Terran? Like, you're just not prepared for those sort of attacks.
I'm thinking of Stargate, like,
yeah.
an Oracle might come fast enough to start on doing some initial damage and then a follow-up attack, but obviously, yeah, these players don't have enough faith in it, and the thing is, if he gets spotted, right? And also INnoVation, we've seen he scouts at least one of the sides around his base before heading across the map.
So it'd still be a bit of a gamble, right? Because if the Stargate's over here, boom.
If he always does the same size, and you know it, side, and you know it, like all you have to do is like check a couple of votes from him, and then see what side he checks.
INnoVation for the Twilight Council in the main base next to the rest of this setup on the corner of the main. Obviously, the Reaper just wants to get across here and have a little bit of a look into the natural where, well, the Stalker greets it, so it gets turned away instantly. That's the nice thing about having the kind of the wall off on the main base as well. It just stops that Reaper getting in and causing some chaos. We are going to be seeing Alien coming through. He does see the Twilight at least when he jumps up here. Is the Stalker actually going to catch this Reaper? Missed a shot though.
Dodged the grenade. That was close.
Yeah, missed micro and it just slightly missing one of his attacks.
Hellions, by the way.
Yeah, definitely changing it up here, INnoVation, but only one Hellion at a time. And gets pulled away from the mineral line. Reason for that being that when Emil kind of just gets left alone to mine, its final mining trip kind of picks up the minerals but never makes it back to the CC. So, to pull it off the mineral line on its final trip.
Thanks, Waddy.
No worries. Now you know.
I mean, I did, but all those that didn't.
For all those that didn't, now they know. Hellion and Reaper can't do too much. Couple of gates coming down. Ooh, Hellion goes the wrong way, and the Stalker's really chunking away at it. I mean, that Hellion.
Yeah. If you had told me, like, a year ago that Protoss would wall off against Terran, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. But I guess without photon overcharge, you kind of have to.
Yeah, if you told me a month ago, I think I would have laughed at it as well still. It was really not something we saw a lot of for long, ever. It's just so abusable by, like, Terran armies coming through.
Yeah.
I guess the idea is that Classic's just going to defend the third base from so early in the game.
I think it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Like, having shield battery, like K2 units being better and stuff, like that's made up for the photon overcharge not being in the game anymore. Maybe made up for it a little bit too much as well.
Yeah.
Look at the start. He jumped all the way back. Grenade looks so funny, I think, sometimes.
There's some real moments. There's some real moments where it's like, it really kind of does hilarious things. Nice response from Classic is INnoVation just does to fly by and stop, and now Stalker's on top of his medevac, so he has to start responding in some way. Those Widow Mines are not exactly burrowed in the most useful locations.
You roll down the window.
Link comes in, shuts it down. INnoVation gets punished for trying to deal some damage here. Going into tanks this time around, and maybe we see a bit of a tank push on this much easier map to push across. As we'll see the starport not going to stick on a reactor for now, just building up a reactor for another barracks. INnoVation, maybe like stim +1 sort of attack time in here. Some tanks could do quite a bit. What medevacs for a while?
What follow-up for Classic though? Do we see glaives or charge this time around? Because it does feel like you have to go into one of them. Yeah, I like the charge because he's already going to use quite a bit of gas for his forges, and then probably adding more stalkers as well. Like we see Protoss nowadays just making so many stalkers compared to what they used to. They would stop at 10 or something before.
Yeah, stalkers have really become the be-all and end-all of the matchup in the early minutes, and I mean you can see why. Even just poking forwards here, it gives you so much map control. You can pick off, you know, a Marine, test the waters. If there wasn't tanks here, you know, maybe you could pick off a little bit more. If this army starts to push across the map, you pick off another couple of units, you get the information. It's all just kind of map control and just opportunities that arise from having these stalkers out there with the blink. INnoVation still just 2 basing it for now, no sign of a third CC.
It's going to be a big commitment here from INnoVation. with the push.
Yeah, he's going to go. I actually didn't think the medevacs were going to line up as nicely, but he is going to have them for the stim and +1. Nice by Classic. Paying attention, pulls away in plenty of time before those tanks get to fire.
You got one Marine.
Every little helps.
5 more gates on the way. Classic pretty much knows this is going to come here in a second. Steam actually forward here. Doesn't even get one Stalker.
That's kind of painful because, I mean, it's already energy off the medevacs. Okay, now he gets a Stalker. Blink's ready again, though. The medevac energy is just being drained away.
I like that, though, because that made the push much faster for INnoVation.
That is true,
He wasn't worried about being kited now, because he was the one doing the chasing, and now those tanks, they're going to position close to that third base of Classic, who's getting so many charge outs right now. Look at how Charge is going to finish perfectly at the right time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to engage immediately, but the more he waits, the more this position is going to be reinforced into. Imagine if he brought like a bunch of SCVs and made the light on bunkers there, but that would be so sick.
So stop the charge loss coming through. I love this by Classic, by the way. The Stalker's in the middle looking for reinforcements. Unfortunately, he just missed out on the tank that walked through there. But there is still more units, which are actually now on the high ground, so I guess it's not going to work out for Classic as he expected to. As his third Nexus is being sieged up. INnoVation is slowly making some progress. Look at this. Classic's looking for these units, and they're all just taking the high ground route. Classic didn't get the memo that the low ground's been shut down for a while. Coming from behind, but there's so many tanks. Whoa, he's going to go for it. He just blinks right on in. The charge lots started coming through as well. The first bunker drops pretty quick. Still a lot of charge lots here. Immortals in the back are fighting bunkers rather than the tanks. And INnoVation, he loses all of his tanks, I guess. He's still got a bit of bio left, but just as we said earlier, that warping of charge lots can push this back so easily. So
yeah, and INnoVation is going to go for it here. He's going to keep on going forward. There's 2 Immortals. The more there will be, the worse it's going to get. Classic ready to do the same thing as earlier, coming from behind, but it's actually getting engaged into his main army here. He might have underestimated what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Stalkers finally get on top of that tank is nice, but now they've already used their blink, so they are going to be sitting ducks. They go down. He turns onto the Immortal again. Barrier comes up for just a split second, buying a little bit more time. And maybe this time Classic just can't get enough units out to hold on as INnoVation comes up in towards the third base mineral line, and that's going to be goodbye to all of those workers. In Classic, it's not over just yet, and actually he's going to come in for another fight while INnoVation's fighting the probes up there. So INnoVation kills a lot, but now he's actually going to jump over in towards the natural, and Classic is not going to get back over here very easily. May even just go all the way in towards the main. I mean, there's a few locations here which work nicely, like behind these gates could be really awesome, just choked up away from the Zealots.
And in the meantime, he's adding more Raxes, still staying on top of his production. I love that he doesn't overcome it here. He's already done the damage. He doesn't need to basically not be cost effective at this point with some of his forces. It's better to keep them alive and do another big push here in a minute. Classic actually starts Templar Archives and 2-2 as well. I feel like the 2-2 might be way too greedy. I think it might have been a lot better for him if he stayed on 1-1 and then just tried to get as many charge lots and High Templars with Storm as he could, or even the Archons to try and take on this. But now, INnoVation is just going to attack with a much bigger army here in a second.
One Marauder on the backside is going to keep up with the Stalkers, and he may just get a final shot, but he doesn't. Stalker's able to blink away. Well, if INnoVation pushes now, and Classic's just invested into 2-2, it's going to be pretty deadly. I mean, look at the army. There's a tank in there, a couple of libs. Those Liberators especially are so powerful in situations like this where the army counts are kept low. Because now all of a sudden, you know, the Stalker number's not quite up there. You don't really want to be warping in Stalkers because that's a lot of gas, which you could instead spend on Zealot, Archons and Immortals. And of course, Zealots on the ground work fantastically too, so these slips are forcing Classic into an interesting position as INnoVation just checks the 4th base for the moment.
This army is so scary, like not just the bio, but the double siege of tanks and Liberators makes it so strong, but yeah, this army is nothing to be laughed at as well here from Classic with Archons entering the field, a crazy amount of charge loss. He always has like 1 or 2 sentry for Guardian Shield, which is the biggest of deals as well, because all you have to do is like make sure that a lot of your Zealots are within the area of that Guardian Shield, and all the Terran bio does so much less damage to this entire army. And now 2-2 is going to complete just before this push actually hits.
Yeah, this is going to be nice and Classic having those upgrades. Upgrades and tanks will be forced to siege from quite a ways away. INnoVation already stimming up. I mean, I guess he has quite a few medevacs. Those force fields don't quite hit the mark. Probably looking to cut a few more units off in half from this army rather than just keeping it back. And now Guardian Shield pops, and Classic's going to go for it. The tanks were momentarily on siege.
He had an observer right about his army, so he saw the unsiege. That's his cue to jump on top of this.
But is it enough? I mean, he's still struggling to get rid of Liberators. They finally go down after all of this time in the fight, and look at it. Tanks left over, Bio left over. Classic has overestimated his own power here. Continue to push through. Those couple extra zealots going down now as well, and well, that is pretty much all she wrote. GG. INnoVation will give us a series here. He's not just going to fall down like before. He's looking for his revenge, and he might very well just get it. Tying this up 1-1. Another very kind of a similar idea to the last game. Aggressive pushes, trying to attack again and again. Stop Classic from getting into like a super strong mid game, heading to late game.
Yeah.
And this time it worked out. He traded well enough, and I think one of the things that was really key was that moment where, you're right, he lifted up his medivacs and it looked like he may drop the natural, may drop the main. He actually just flies out. And that's huge, because if he loses those units and just kills a couple probes, suddenly this push probably does get cleaned up.
There's Blink. In so many of these PvTs, we've seen the Terran actually dropping like this, and like we're kind of like almost like naively hopeful. We're like, oh yeah, is this finally going to do some damage? And every time it's been the same thing. Protoss comes, blinks, kill the medivac, kills all of the units, and the Bio does almost nothing. Not cost effective at all. Almost as if Terran was like trying to buy some time for some kind of sick end game that they could get, whereas it's the opposite. It's Protoss that has the end game with more economy and more upgrades. So it's been a bit weird watching those, and like for INnoVation to be able to say like, this is not going to do enough, I'm just going to lose Bio and do nothing and get out, I think was so smart.
Great
that
game,
last fight, he had 40 more army supply. He was 2 upgrades behind, but 40 more army supply. Like, he should never lose that fight. Even though Classic had a brilliant move, he had the Observer above the army, and he saw like 3 of the tanks, I think, or 4 on siege, and he jumped on top of it. But like I said, like 40 more army supply, that's a pretty big deal.
And that's why I think maybe Classic should just sit back and just wait for more warp-ins, or do you think that it just gets too difficult a position?
Yeah, he's on the gateway heavy army with no high Templars or Colossi, so the bigger the Terran army gets, the worse it gets for him. Maybe he could have tried to go around, catch the reinforcements, and delay the engagements, but especially against double siege. Like, double siege increases the strength of the Terran army so much with every Liberator and tank joining it.
And as soon as those Liberators are sieged on your third nexus, or the tanks have pushed forwards, and you don't have that opportunity to jump on top, then you're thinking, well, why didn't I jump on top of it when he was on siege, right? So
but it was really smart by INnoVation to push the way he did, and even use the route of rallying, the one that he did.
Ground.
I don't know if that was intentional, with like a double rally points. Probably not necessarily, but that saved him a lot of trouble.
Indeed. Well, welcome to Neon Violet Square for map number 3. Bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player is INnoVation. To the top left, our blue Protoss. And he pushed back the aggressive push forwards of the Terran this time. It is Classic. Do you think INnoVation's already gone for a fast free CC in this series? You think he does it again now on Neon when he builds it in position on the third?
Maybe. And if he does he go for more upgrades? Because so far it's been a bit of a Lee, quote-unquote, screw upgrades, Shin Hyung action from him.
He really hasn't been a fan of armories this game at all. So let's see very soon here what his plan will start to develop on into, because obviously if it is free CC, one of the main things he'll be looking for is just the single gas in the main base. So looking for that, and just going to be looking to see how this is going to go as this probe throw down the Nexus.
Yeah. You just got to notice, by the way, from our TV that
it's probably going to turn off.
Yeah, in 5 minutes. So
so if production has the TV remote,
please help us, because there is no way this game is going to end in the next few minutes, I think.
Yeah, that would be pretty intense as we do see this probe.
No TV cast next meta.
Screen turns blank.
Like we cast from the sounds. So I hear probes dying. Like.
All right, we're going to be seeing the factory is going to drop down here and just get set up, ready to go, and it's going to be seeing the Nexus building up on the naturals. So really nothing too crazy here in the early stages. Just going to be seeing the expansions coming on into play. Again, I guess the factory from INnoVation, rather than like lots of racks rather than the fast free CC, is something which is a bit telling. But look at that, Classic. It's going to throw down the proxied Stargate.
Trying to hide behind the map overlay as well a little bit, you know.
I mean, it's a weird position to sort of scout. You have to go kind of all the way around it.
It's on the side that INnoVation doesn't check.
It's
He's
true.
done his research.
He keeps going to the left-hand side every single time, left or up. It's
a very tough map to actually wall off on, right, with the wide ramp. So I feel like if you're going to do a proxy Stargate like this, some sort of gateway attack follow-up might be really good there, but we'll see. Maybe it's just like 1 or 2 oracles.
INnoVation, though, this time just bypasses the Hellion and goes straight into a Widow Mine.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to help quite a lot against an Oracle.
Can you suspect this, though? It's so hard to realize that it's there because...
Especially since he's seen nothing.
Yeah, even if he goes across the map and sees one Stalker, I mean, that's what Classic has had every game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely no telltale sign unless you get in the main and you realize there is no tech here.
Yeah.
So, pretty tough to tell.
I don't think he will risk it, especially like having lost his Reaper in some of the previous games. I think he wants to make sure he keeps it alive this time around. Check for the 3rd base and stuff.
Oracle about to pop. We'll see how much Classic's going to get done. Is he just rallying it just in front? Is he going to wait for 2, I guess, maybe? Maybe he does and just really hope to catch INnoVation off guard. Because also...
That would be smart,
because
it's really unexpected, right? Past a certain timing.
And I think also that's going to be the timing where the Widow Mines are going to lift into a medevac and drop.
Yeah,
if he is
that's what he's
drop.
counting on for sure. Because like a Terran that makes Widow Mines, he will always like, or a lot of the time, kind of like keep them in his main base and burrow them somewhere. And before going across the map, right? That they're not going to just sit there a lot of the time, which actually was the case here for a while for INnoVation.
Alright, we'll see in a moment or so. Those Oracles can get something done. Obviously looking for the Widow Mine job to do something as well, though, in the near future.
Saving for a 3rd one? No, okay. He's going to play in with 2.
Is that a... Okay, it is a Marine. I was going to say it looked like a Widow Mine behind the CC, because it was the usual position, but it was just a Marine. And these Oracles, they don't find a lot right now, but they jump into the main, hit the refinery. That's not quite what they wanted. And actually really being, I'd say, fairly unsuccessful so far. As now Widow Mine's burrow over here, and that...
My turn.
Probes. Oh, wow. It's 2. Well, these Widow Mines, 2 of them didn't even get to go off. A good response from Classic. But you can see the Oracles coming back home. INnoVation looking to dive into the main base with those Widow Mines that are still active here. Looking for just another couple of worker kills at least, perhaps. He's going to get... None. Wow. I was unlucky. Goes into the one in gas. Could have targeted the other one, but maybe got greedy. Either way, going to be seeing INnoVation. Ended up losing 6 SCVs to the 2 probes. I mean... At this stage, it's not the end of the world. You just see the proxy Stargate now, so you can shut that down for later on. The transition of Twilight Forge. Third Nexus comes into play from Classic.
I like the choice of INnoVation to throw down the 3rd CC, yeah, the way it is. And especially like realizing it doesn't need to be extra safe and take the pocket expansion. Instead, he can just take the normal base with more minerals. The turret's going to finish a little bit late there against these Oracles. Yeah. See how these guys are so fast, killing everything there on steroids. You see that?
Wow, that second one only just manages to get out, though. So that was a little bit scary. But he still has 2 alive for the Revelations throughout the game, as we now see Chrono boosting the +1 armor right away here. Classic just looking for that upgrade lead nice and quick in the game once more. Just +1 from INnoVation for now, just a single engineering bay. Is extra racks coming through off the back of this free CC. I wonder if we do just see the Ghost Academy nice and quick and get set up into that, because again, Classic is throwing down Templar Archives. He's looking to play sort of Gateway plus Storm or Archons. And we'll see if that's going to be enough for him.
I don't know, like, in my mind, Colossus tech is so much less worrisome than High Templars. So even if you, like, you could wait kind of late, then see that it's Colossus, and then go for the, you know, late 2nd starport or 3rd one, and then make it, get some sort of, you know, Liberators or Vikings to counter them. Whereas High Templars, if you don't counter them ASAP, they become so much more powerful. If they build up on energy, they increase in numbers, and you will just not be able to counter without Ghosts a lot of the time. And we do see like a decently quick Storm starting here in this game, as well as the 2nd Forge now that's going to be on the way. And on a map like this, you can always expect a War Prism to, you know, come into play eventually, start warping in some charge lots here and there, and really be annoying for Terran to deal with.
Oracle's going to find out that there is a 3rd base here, and going to grab a couple SCVs, just transfer in between. This is why it's nice to keep these Oracles alive. Look at this, 5 workers just out of nowhere, really. He's going to get another one as well. Really not bad. Viking might be able to get rid of this front one, just doesn't have one final shot in it. 6 workers.
Didn't have it in him.
Tries to do some High Templar attack. It's like you think anything that touches that Reaper is going to die? No. High Templars can hit even lower than you think.
Oh, that was the Zealot that killed him, right?
Yeah, but the High Templar got an attack initially. That brought it even lower health than it already was.
It's still, yeah, it's quite sick. Can you imagine if somebody time traveled from 2011 to now and saw attacking High Templars?
They'd be like, are you guys kidding me? They must remove Storm, right? Like, no, no, no. Storm
This is a custom map, right?
Yeah, but they also see these medivacs like boosting around the map like 3 times the speed of usual. They're like, how do you ever not die to this?
Warcraft 4?
Oh, alright,
Where are the heroes?
And they see the mothership go away.
Oh, snap.
Fire coming through the middle. This ghost timing is coming in from INnoVation as he's going to shut down the oracles this time around. Surely he does get them. Obviously, he's still got 1 tag of the Revelation, which is nice. You know, I kind of like this time from INnoVation. It's currently just +1 attack. The Storm hits like a couple of mines. I mean, they're still going to be active. What are you going to do? Storm there again for 2 mine kills? Apparently so. Guess you got a couple Marines low as well. Middlemine's doing some more damage here. It's such a weird kind of set of storms that are coming down from such a distance.
Tank. They did the damage.
The tanks
oh my god. Oh.
I Templar from the... Where?
Hey.
Where?
He preemptively stormed as well, where he thought the Terran army was going to move. And that at first didn't work, but then it kind of did.
This is a kind of a weird moment or two. Well, either way, +2 armor, about to finish
Oh my god,
up
that pylon.
Classic.
He's going to get it.
Yeah, both these pylons actually, which is going to be huge. Oh, the +2 armor just finishes in time. Well, that's what Classic was kind of waiting for, but he's still got to come through a bit of a weird spot to get around to this. Yeah, he should be EMPing them Zealots as they come in. He kind of misses them a little bit. Still has 1 left at least.
He got a whole bunch of this army, and INnoVation is still kiting with Widow Mines right behind this ghost doing a ton of damage.
God, these Zealots are just walking into their slaughter at the moment as we seeing these Widow Mines actually going to load up and start dropping beyond the Terran army so that they can try and get on top of the Stalkers. And you know what? They're going to go off. Stalkers, sentries getting attacked, and obviously with no Zealots in front, the rest of this army just disappears. And INnoVation making it happen, taking the 2-1 lead in that qualifying match.
With 99 problems, but a Proto-Saint one, apparently.
Dude, I mean, poor Classic at this rate. If he gets knocked out here, that's going to be like 2 qualifiers recently, where you get to like the qualifying round and loses out.
What is he, like the Sioux of qualifiers?
The Sioux of qualifiers. Gets 1 position away and just doesn't make it.
That's the worst, by the way. Like,
yeah.
So depressing. Like all that practice, like these guys, you know, that's train incredible amounts, then to barely not make it. But, you know.
So competitive in career.
Somebody that does not give up can never be beat. That's the thing. So you never gotta give up. Just keep going.
You're going to tell that to Classic before the next game.
I'm not going to tell him anything. It's not over yet, right?
Yeah,
like
okay. Okay, maybe. Okay, so if he loses here, you're going to tell him that before the next qualifier.
I mean, I don't know him that well. If he needed a pep talk, maybe I would. So he could tell me to shut right up.
Yeah, just jump into his DMs. You know, hey man. I know you're probably not feeling great after today, but you know, if you need me, I got you, bro. Bro.
I can always lend a ear and listen to your complaints, anything you want. Classic is definitely one of those players that, like I said, has been counted out, but he always like seems to perform in a way, right? There is always the last few steps of a tournament, right? Even like in a lot of these tournaments where he made it way further than people would have thought, he still didn't quite win them. So it feels like he's just missing a little thing to, you know, start winning more in some of these tournaments. Like now, I mean, you might look at it and be like, oh yeah, it's not a major tournament, it's just a qualifier. Well, if you look at the names that are in there, you know, this might as well be Codes or something, because all of the best Korean players are in this tournament.
I mean, it's a gauntlet. Every Korean qualifier is, and I mean, you can't blame these guys when they don't qualify, because it is really tough, but it's still obviously a massive disappointment, right?
Yeah.
For them, of course, especially. All right, well, game 4, INnoVation. Just 1 map away. Might be able to do this here. Might be able to join the 2 Zergs that qualified already, which is Dark and Impact. We've had 1 heck of a day already in this qualifier. It's not done just yet, as we are on Ascension to Aya. But at least 1 more map. Let's see if we can see all 5 games in this one. The bottom right-hand side, our Red Protoss player is Classic. The top left, our Blue Terran is INnoVation.
Remember what's on the line here, a spot at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship in Katowice, early March. $400,000 prize pool. Not too bad. And yeah, they will directly be seeded into the tournament. And whoever makes it, I mean, either one of these two guys has a pretty good chance of going far there as well, aka winning a lot of money. You know, obviously, pierogies are really nice, but the massive chunks of money that you can make in the tournament is also, I think, what they should have on their minds.
I mean, INnoVation did have a round of 8 finish, and only just a round of 8 finish, because, man, that series against Alive was crazy in the quarterfinals of Katowice in 2017. He really is always a danger in any tournament he gets himself into. And again, remember that this is not just the only chance that these players have. There is a second Korean server qualifier. But not only that, there's also a NA server qualifier and EU server qualifier. And the important thing is server qualifiers. They are completely open to anybody. Just they are played on either EU, NA, or Korea.
You think INnoVation will try his luck on NA if he didn't make it there?
Oh yeah, he played in the EU one last year.
Play a couple warm-up games on his diamond accounts.
get flamed. OMG.
This always happens. I always hear this story at like every event.
Like
when it's like cross-region.
Yeah, when people go to like a BlizzCon or something, they're there for a couple of weeks and they like start leveling up an account, and there's always one post on Reddit like, this guy said this to INnoVation and he beats him. Pretty funny. But yeah, INnoVation I think definitely would try his luck. I mean, I'm pretty sure he played the EU server last year. That didn't go very well for him, but he still tried. He made it to stage 2. Made it to stage 2 and he lost to someone like maybe Snoot or Nurchio. I think he maybe lost to Snoot, then Petit Drogo or something in the lower bracket.
Okay. That's acceptable. These guys are good.
Yeah, and that sort of ping. Yeah.
Stalker gonna push back the... It's almost depressing to see a Reaper at this stage, right? Because like Protoss always gets a Stalker, and like it chases it away quite easily, prevents any kind of scouting. But it feels like you have to, right? Because you can scout around your own natural base. You can just kind of keep it away from the Stalker. Like for a Reaper to die to a Stalker, I feel like you have to really commit or mess up, which like you don't have to do. Like in this case, INnoVation has definitely been prioritizing keeping his Reaper alive more so that he can keep on checking around his base, not just initially, but even now, you know, he can kind of check the other side of the map, see if there is any kind of proxy pylon, take the Zelnaga watchtowers in the middle of the map, make sure he sees what's coming. The more information, the better, especially for somebody, you know, that doesn't initially scout in the start of the game and doesn't want to spend scans on scouting.
Yeah, INnoVation lost out to Snoot and Drogo. Then made it through another qualifier.
2 of Europe's finest.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing real well back then. Anyways, into this game, we do see the Robo Facility is dropping down as a follow-up here.
That's a natural base. If I didn't know better, I'd say this is a PvZ from Classic. With the 2 gates in the world, the Robo right behind. He's going for a Soul Train, isn't he?
It's like you start watching some Pro streams lately, and like you see these wall-offs and setups, and you're like, oh right, he's playing Protoss versus Zerg. Then like Widow Mines dropping his mineral line, you're like, that's interesting. Infested Widow Mines. Haven't seen that before. Yeah, it's kind of
infested Widow Mines. Can you imagine?
How about you neural parasite Widow Mines in a Terran's army?
They not only blow up when you kill them, they also detonate like a Baneling.
Okay, that'd be disgusting.
One of the best ideas I've ever heard. You know what's the best idea ever? Is Rodis, Phoenix can pick up Dark Templars, like the Hippogriff Riders in Warcraft 3. Right. You know, they're like this entire unit that can only attack air. So like Phoenix, but without the lift. And you could put archers on them. And they would shoot from so far away. And they are like one of the worst units in the game, but there is a couple of cheeses that can make them good. Roti pitched to me this idea before that Phoenix should pick up DTs.
Make them like archers.
And I don't even I don't even know what he said they should be like. Maybe like this unit that can only attack air but like slice away at it like super freaking hard. Like melee.
Such like that'd be like the new Roddy build, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He makes all these ridiculous suggestions. One day one gets in so you can popularize the new Roddy build.
He's just ahead of the meta. Super genius.
Alright, well, if these Stalkers are going to push into the middle of the map here from Classic, early game INnoVation as well, set up into tank, stim, +1. Medivacs are coming through. I mean, this is looking very similar to Catalyst so far, just the 2 base push from INnoVation potentially coming in the near future. And Medevac never committed, by the way, on the right-hand side, and so it's still around and can still come in and be a bit of a surprise factor to Classic, who just hasn't seen it yet. We'll look to get something done with the Stalkers, though, initially, but with Stim up, he should be able to force this back INnoVation. Obviously, he has to be careful not to use too much of his, too much of a Stim, because he doesn't want to waste all of his health already. With Medevac, see, I mean, it's like Catalyst, I guess he'll probably Stim forwards to push the Stalkers back so you can push. There's a larger rush distance this time, though, and there you go, just pushes forwards already. Just allows him to keep poking on through.
That's so many Marines. Like, as much as this army, from charge loss dies pretty fast, the DPS of this army is actually insane. Classic trying to kite as much as he can, trying to reduce those Marine numbers. Doing a pretty good job so far, needs to be careful not to lose any of these Stalkers.
Mine's going off and gets 4 worker kills. Not bad at all, as we're going to be seeing still these Stalkers trying to kite, but now he's losing a couple Stalkers as well. You can't lose too many. 9 workers going down.
Yeah, in the meantime. He was busy kiting. I think INnoVation was counting on that.
It's actually a good timing to drop the Widow Mines in, I suppose. Well, there's the first wave of charge shots coming through. Charge has finished just a few seconds ago. Oh, those tanks are in siege momentarily. Here we go. Stalkers blink on top of them, and they do one-shot volley those down. Those tanks just disappear from the army of INnoVation, and suddenly blinking forwards again. I mean, Medevac nearly dead. Zealots are going to chase these Marines. Combat Shields finishes now. A little bit late, buddies. You don't have much of a chance in this one, because you're just getting, I mean, to the point where Classic's just going to counter-attack and maybe even just shut down INnoVation completely.
That was so perfect by Classic. The 1-1 and charge finished as this army got there. He threatened on the high ground. He knew that INnoVation was going to unsiege eventually and either pull back or start moving forward. And as INnoVation unsieged, Classic engaged in. Basically killed everything that was there, except for a few units that barely escaped. So now, INnoVation, being stuck on 2 bases, he's going to have to go into desperation mode. Ghost Academy, maybe just make like 3 ghosts and go for the attack. I wouldn't even mind if you pull the boys even, like, for all time's sake, Wardy.
Well, it might not be too bad, can't tank a few shots of the Zealots for a little while or something. And he's going to come in to try and protect the Widow Mine. They do it.
But that observer knew that was what was coming.
Was,
Try to get away.
It was a very predictable moment just there as that observer goes down.
Is he going to pull the boys, you think? We don't see it ever anymore.
Yeah, we really don't. But honestly, in this scenario,
sometimes
why not?
Sometimes you do enough damage that actually having SCVs behind it will allow you to produce enough units to keep on attacking. And you can also fly your main orbital. That's the main thing to a new base. Yeah.
I just wonder, but sometimes, of course, having the SCVs can make the difference of you being able to kind of have enough bio still alive to win the fight. It's tough read as you do see that scan comes down, observer disappears.
What was the energy on the Ghost? Because they just came out, they're not going to have enough yet, but they're going to build up.
By the time they're there.
Yeah, okay. So 3 EMPs. 3 money EMPs, Wardy. Not a single High Templar in this game, it's just pure army. INnoVation actually ahead in army supply, but some of that is making its way across the map. This amount of charge loss on its own would be scary to this army.
It's a battery T2 as well here from Classic, so that upgrade lead that we're just so used to seeing.
Getting a good engagement is the hard part as well, and that counts for both players. INnoVation, he knows he's...
It's a lot of Widow Mines.
Yeah, the clock is playing against him, so he's going to move up the ramp.
He has to do something here soon. I love this. Classic just waits for the DTs to go in, just pulling back, waiting by in time. Here we go. Now we see an INnoVation pulling all the way back. Those Widow Mines kill a lot of the Zealots, and with the EMPs combined, that army of Classic is very bruised up, but is it enough to make the difference? I feel like the EMP comes down. I feel kind of missed the mark, though.
Yeah, EMP the backline here, and actually that missed most of everything.
Didn't even hit the Immortals, which is kind of a big thing to EMP because it activates their barrier as well. GG's cold, and that means we are going to game number 5 for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, every single qualifying match has been a 5-map thriller here today, so some very close matches, and this is going to be yet another one of them here with Classic, saying you're not going to get me one more time here with this push. You better be ready to get wrecked if you march across the map with Marines and tanks.
Pristine in terms of the defense from Classic. What went wrong? Absolutely nothing. Stalkers blinked on the tanks. One was dead instantly, the second not far behind it.
Yeah.
Zealots are getting rid of all the Marines.
And there was an Immortal even.
Yeah, I don't even know what the Immortal did, honestly. I mean, the Stalkers got rid of the tanks, the Zealots pushed the Marines back, the Immortal's just chilling in the back like, yo, you need me?
Call me if you need me.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Robophobe, another pint. All right, well, Game 5's coming up. Going to be, I think, a thriller. You said it in terms of the series. I think this game's going to be good. I think INnoVation's going to move away from his pushes.
I mean, with the way he's been playing, like, he doesn't seem to want to to play a straight up solid macro game. Doesn't seem to be confident in that, so it's been like more aggression, but at least taking a third base. I wonder here, what do you think? If he pulls SCVs, maybe does he change? I really feel like
In this case,
the engagements have been very important. Whoever gets clean engagements wins the game. And of that, in the previous game, INnoVation, I don't think did a very good job. He kept on moving very hastily towards the Protoss army, and every time Classic just pounced on him and abused the fact that the tanks weren't sieged in that last fight, that the Widow Mines weren't burrowed.
yeah.
It's even like super obvious, like as you're watching it, like, you know, at the end here, Classic was like, he engaged first, then he pulled back, and as INnoVation is chasing him, I was like, oh god, I know I know it's coming, and he turns around, and every single charger just like comes in with like everything, and I knew like he was gonna lose everything pretty much instantly. The Widow Mines barely had time to burrow. They didn't even have draining claws either, so maybe take his time a little bit more. But then again, it's easy to say like from a spectator standpoint here, and it will allow Classic to potentially get more units out. Oh my god, battle on the boardwalk. That's the last map again.
What are these guys vetoing to get the battle on the boardwalks off? Like Abyssal Reef?
Apparently.
Abyssal Reef and Odyssey? I mean... okay, guys, if you want it, you get it. The top right-hand side on Battle on the Boardwalk. Wrapping up this first qualifier for the IEM Katowice 2018. It's our Blue Protoss player. It is Classic. And to the upper left-hand side, our Red Terran player is going to be none other than INnoVation.
INnoVation, perhaps. Be nice to see a Terran qualify there.
INnoVation. Clues. It doesn't quite work. I tried.
A weak attempt, Worthy.
You do better. Oh, you did win. INnoVation is such an obvious one, though.
Yeah.
It's easy. Anyways, we do see
Classic with a gold base.
Gold base, yeah. It feels much more abusable in TVP than like PvZ, though. You know, in PvZ, I think you're very limited in ways the Zerg can actually attack you or pressure you there. I really feel in TVP, you know, drops, you know, attacks, Widow Mines, Liberators. Like
yeah, but it can set you up for like doing your own attack, right?
Yeah, of course.
I remember like there was this one build where because you get the gold base, you have a far superior income than usual. Then you go into 6 gates so easily and even transition out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It does give you those advantages as well. I mean,
I'm surprised we don't see more stuff like this, to be honest, because if you did this kind of builds where you get like, obviously you have to open one Stalker, right, to chase this Reaper away, but then imagine he gets like 2 sentries and then drops 5 more gates. Those are going to build up on energy. With the damage, the current damage of the Stalkers, can you imagine if he did like a Guardian Shield, 5 Stalkers and 4 Zealots attack? I feel like Terran should just straight up die. Almost every single time. But then again, like every time I theorize a build like this and it's put into effect, it just fails horribly, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think you say it right.
But to be honest, like INnoVation has been scouting like so little. Yeah. Like obviously right now he knows there is a gold base, he saw there is no natural on location, but as far as tech goes, he's basically saying, I don't care whether it's proxy Stargate, proxy Robo, Dark Shrine, I'm just gonna make my own units drop and then kind of find out what you're up to then. But I'm a little surprised that, you know, build orders like that, you know, gold base into like 5 or 6 gates are not there anymore.
Especially on like Battle on the Boardwalk as well. It's like such a good map to attack into the Terran on. Like if they take that natural.
Yeah, there's no ramp to kind of hide that first shot.
Well, for now, it's just going to be the blink from Classic. He's not going to go crazy here, so it looks like INnoVation will just go towards the Widow Mine drop once again. I mean, this is really kind of cookie-cutter stuff so far, but it's beyond this where we kind of get very interested in maybe does INnoVation change this up at all? In fact, I mean, does he change it up by lifting up a Widow Mine and 6 Marines here already, perhaps? I mean, that could be one way to do things just slightly differently to what he's been going for. I mean, a bit of a different drop to do something. Lifts up 2 Widow Mines and 4 Marines, so I guess the answer to that is yes, and it looks like he will go down towards the gold base.
Yeah, what does Classic have there to be ready for this?
Scouting pylon. Not much else. Not even a recall available, but warpins will be ready in a moment. Extra gates are about to finish up.
Is he warping there? If he doesn't, this is actually pretty bad. I mean, I guess he could recall. I think that Nexus had quite a bit of energy, but...
Did it? I think it was maybe just coming up to 50.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't.
He warps in, but now the Widowmine's kind of zone out those stalkers.
Yeah, Blink is not finished yet. He can't bait the shot, so he's gonna do it. Oh, he tries to do it with the probe, but INnoVation unburrows just right on time. All he has to do is kill the probe, and he's gonna prevent that. So now he has to wait for Blink. Oh my god! And he gets one of the stalkers. This is so bad.
I mean, if nothing else, this is just a huge amount of mine time being lost. I mean, at this point, finally, there's a second warp in, but what a delay as the Widowmine now does get baited into shooting. I mean, what a delay, right? Just by so much time. And now the Stalker's on the gold base rather than having a lot on the main, which means that this Liberator can get into position.
Yeah, there's 3 there, which should be enough to deal with this, especially having Blink straight into charge this time for Classic. And on this map, 2 base pushes are so common that if you go for double upgrade, a lot of the time it's not going to be ready on time. So Classic is like, you know what? Let me just grab charge of War Prism, more gates, and this is the one way he's going to use the gold base with his far superior income by getting a ton of charge loss, going for warp ins and drops across the map, potentially.
Make life difficult for INnoVation. His third CC is coming up. His stim pack and +1 now starting, but prioritizing the free CC this game, like before the second and third racks, so really moving away from, you know, as aggressive a push as what we've been seeing. He goes a couple of tanks defensively, then looks as though he's just going to build in towards a reactor for the Widowmine switch up. INnoVation is changing it up a bit in this 5th game, but obviously so is Classic. Like you said, it's time for him to play that mass gateway style that we haven't really seen from him so far. It's always been about getting out Storm and all of that.
Yeah, with charge, it's going to be so good on a map like this where you can go from many avenues straight into something like the main base, be aggressive elsewhere potentially with Blink Stalkers. And I mean, if you start killing SCVs while having a gold base on a map like this where like you can expand very closely to your other bases, like in terms of, you know, having another base near his natural, it would be so good for Classic to make that happen. I'm interested in seeing if he goes for any kind of transition or if he commits everything to this, because right now we still don't have forges, we still don't have anything like a Dark Shrine, a Templar Archive, nothing. He's still only on 3 gases. I've been taking only one of the gases on the gold base.
I love that this Liberator is still alive, just still being annoying every now and then when it finds itself an opportunity. Given so many Stalkers at home is, oh my god.
How many gates is he on?
It's on like 8, I think, right?
I talked about the 6 gates, you know, it's better to charge about 8 gates.
It's a bit later, but
that tank is so dead, by the way.
No upgrades, by the way, at all from Classic.
Yeah.
Like, he's so committed to this.
Yeah, usually when you do this, like, you'd have some sort of like double forge AC. Classic has a lot of minerals and so much gas. Still no Templar Archive or Dark Shrine. Like, he could go for either of these quite easily. He's like, you know what, I'll just attack and kill him.
Widowmine chop across the map. INnoVation going to try and slow Classic down as Classic gets ready to push on in, though, and obviously looking for quite a victory here. Tank from the high ground will stick around as INnoVation doesn't have stim for a few more seconds, but now it is going to come into play. SEVs will pull. The Zealots are on their own, but now warping in the main makes this a difficult sort of split-up defense from INnoVation. He pulls its third base back immediately. A lot of SEVs going down, but it means the bio is sort of surviving behind this. 32 workers, but INnoVation will take a huge army supply lead.
Yeah, the Widowmine drop in the meantime killed 10 probes. Did they actually pick up the Widowmines?
The Liberator as well. Yeah, I know
they got cleaned up.
So they get cleaned up. The Liberator cleaned up as well. And 40 workers down. INnoVation on 13 SCVs. That's brutal.
Looks like he has to attack and go all in, maybe. But
yeah,
he's just gonna make SCVs. He saved the 3rd CC, right?
Yeah, the 3rd CC is alive. He moved into the main because I guess right now, no point trying to hold it in position. He's going to find what is not really the entire army down here, and Stalkers take a little while to blink.
Wake up!
War Prism's going to be in a little bit of trouble, perhaps. Is he still going to actually get another Stalker or 2? Okay, well, this may be just the INnoVation kind of push forwards that he needed here. That War Prism taking more damage from this Viking as well.
Yeah, I think Classic might have misread the situation for a bit there, because he was making probes still. He needs to make only units and make sure he defends against this. INnoVation, couple forces are going to land here next to his army.
Widowmines! Wow. Huge connections on the Widowmines. Remember, INnoVation is up an attack upgrade for what feels like the first time this series. And so these units are going to die a lot faster than they have done in previous fights of similar situations, of similar compositions, to the point where the Zealots are just disappearing so quickly, the Stalkers are going to be able to be engaged into. And INnoVation, down at only 15 workers, is maybe going to get enough done. Zealots warping in again, but INnoVation's reinforcements are soon to arrive. He needs to keep kiting. He needs to minimize the damage from these Zealots as Widowmines come into position once once again. Needs to try and get rid of the splash damage that could happen there. He gets through the Widow Mines, through the Zealots once more. Keeps on pushing through. The army supply difference is huge at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like INnoVation might be able to do it here. He needs to keep on kiting. These Zealots, they can only be allowed to attack once here. Classic attempting to get an arc on here maybe in a second. He wants to use double feedback maybe first, but these guys are gonna get sniped for it. INnoVation with just too little too much.
Oh my god, he keeps on pushing through. Zealots aren't even getting a chance to warp in anymore, as INnoVation is in the third-base mineral line, and Classic is starting to say goodbye to some of his economy. That said, he's still up 25 workers overall, and now these medevacts don't have a lot of healing to keep these units on better health, and so INnoVation cannot stim forever. He's going to get some more probes here. 56-6 army supply. Classic just does not have enough. Where is Warpins? He's just got no money.
That feeling when I out-upgraded him with one single attack upgrade, Wardy. Classic going for the non-upgrade style, and INnoVation with just the good enough micro and defense to just go for a counter-attack and get the win. He will be going to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Congratulations to him.
GG. INnoVation played one heck of a series here against Classic. I mean, really, he went to town in the end, and I liked it, changing up his styles in the 5th game, playing himself a bit more sort of laid back, macro focused, and it was Classic that tried to change you up, go mass gateway, utilize that gold-based economy.
Yeah.
It did not work out for him.
The 3rd command center was really smart because then it's what made Classic have to attack, right? If INnoVation doesn't make the 3rd CC, then he's the one that has to attack. Then he engages on the Protoss' turf. Yeah, it will be so much harder for him. Now, being at home, he had the right reflex as well. He pulled all of the SCVs from the natural, tanked so much damage, cleaned up with some good micro and repositioning during the fight. And yeah, Classic just kind of overextended. He could have sent charge loss into the main mineral line, killed walkers, not even engaged into the natural, but he chose to go for it. And I mean, he lost way too much there. The counter attack was always going to give him trouble, and he misread it as well. He started remaking probes after that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we see all the numbers, but like, he should be able to tell that he killed so many SCVs already.
He just needs to defend.
Exactly. Just get units, get Archons. He had the Templar Archives on the way. Maybe buy some time somehow, but what a sick attack by INnoVation. And he kited like his life depended on it, and it did. And now he's going to be going to Poland.
He's going to be playing at Katowice, looking to follow up on a round of 8 finish in 2017. We do have confirmation of that lower bracket. INnoVation 3-2 against Classic. To be fair, he slaughtered his way through this lower bracket. 2-0 Hero, 2-1 TY, 2-1 Gumiho. Defeated Bunny earlier on as well.
INnoVation basically won the GSL in that lower bracket.
Yeah, he did okay. Lost out to Classic in groups. Got revenge in the grand final.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy stuff. Impact and Dark also qualifying through as well. We saw those ZVP series earlier. And that does wrap us up with the 3 qualified players, Dark, Impact, and INnoVation.
Yeah, we'll be joining Rogue. That's going there. Still a lot more qualifiers to come that will be later this month. Very excited for that, actually.
Yeah, some great qualifiers, EU server, NA server, and one more Korean server as well, because we just like to treat you here at IEM, apparently, with some great games. Today was a lot of fun. We hope you enjoyed, of course, but that does wrap us on up. Congrats to the qualified players, and of course, stay tuned throughout the month of January for more Intel Extreme Masters Katowice qualifiers. Until then, have a great day.